She'll thank me for that later.
In the vast realm of fiction, werewolves have long prowled the shadows of our collective imagination, leaving an indelible mark on countless tales. These enigmatic beings have embodied a spectrum of archetypes, from fearsome and primal creatures to romantic figures entwined in tragic love stories. They've been both champions of justice and harbingers of chaos, embracing both the light and dark of their dual nature. In this video, we will delve into the mesmerizing world of werewolves and focus on the god-tier werewolves who reign supreme over their lycanthropic brethren. Brace yourself for an extraordinary glimpse into these shape-shifting creatures, brimming with unparalleled power and mystique. So without wasting any moment, let's get right into it. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin. Captain Janos Scorcenzi, Werewolf TV series 1987 to 1988. Werewolf TV series goes back to the late 80s, featuring the origins of eponymous lycanthrope in a bloodline shrouded in darkness. At the heart of this captivating tale is the malevolent antagonist Janos Scorcenzi, played by the enigmatic Chuck Connors. Janos, a bloodthirsty werewolf, was bitten in the 19th century by the unassailable Nicholas Remy. The relationship between the two was marked by conflict, as evidenced by Remy's cruel punishment of Janos, who lost his left eye in the process. But Janos evolved to become an immensely powerful werewolf, capable of transforming at will. His metamorphosis was a spectacle to behold, as he would effortlessly shed his human flesh, revealing the ferocious wolf beneath. What made Janos truly fearsome was his longevity, for despite being bitten in his 20s, he appeared to age little by the time the series took place in 1987, remaining in his 60s. Scorcenzi relished in the thrill of killing, taking pleasure in witnessing others lose their humanity, leaving a trail of victims in his wake. Janos' prominence in the narrative of Werewolf was underscored by his relentless pursuit of the series' protagonist, Eric Cord. Grad student Eric found himself unwittingly entangled in a web of lycanthropy after his roommate Ted revealed his own werewolf nature. Bitten by Ted and burdened with a pentagram scar on his palm, Eric was thrust into a world of supernatural danger and a race against time to break the curse. But later, the series finale unveiled a shocking revelation when Eric discovered that Nicholas Remy was the true progenitor of his bloodline, not Janos Scorcenzi. A climactic battle ensued, with Eric using acid and electrocution in a desperate attempt to vanquish Janos. Though seemingly defeated, Janos' fate remained uncertain as his body mysteriously vanished from the scene, leaving the possibility of his survival open to speculation due to the abrupt cancellation of the show. Nonetheless, Chuck Connors masterfully portrayed Janos Scorcenzi, breathing life into the character with his commanding presence and chilling portrayal. The role allowed Connors to showcase his range as an actor, embodying the sinister essence of Janos while captivating audiences as a merciless predator, leaving an indelible mark on the series. Fenrir Greyback, Harry Potter series. This guy is the most savage werewolf to exist in the wizarding world of Harry Potter. Children and adults alike quake at the sound of Fenrir Greyback. Although the movies do not have a rich documentation of Greyback, his chronicles of bloodlust are all over the Harry Potter book series. His transformation into lycanthrope apparently happened at a very early age when he was bitten and infected by a werewolf. This incident left him brimming with rage, and he decided to not conform to the rules set by the Ministry of Magic for the werewolves, demanding them to restrict themselves on a full moon's night and not harm a soul during their transformation. Greyback actually made it his mission to infect as many people as possible, often placing himself close to his victims before a full moon to ensure he could attack them after his transformation. Greyback excelled in attacking and biting children, raising them away from their parents and teaching them to hate normal wizards. He wanted to create enough werewolves to overcome the wizards and had aligned himself with Lord Voldemort during the Second Wizarding War. Initially, he was recruited by the Death Eaters for easier access to potential victims. Voldemort never bestowed him with the Dark Mark, but instead used Greyback and his pack of werewolves as a weapon to intimidate people into doing his bidding, often threatening to send Greyback after their children. Greyback's brutality escalated during this time and started killing and eating his victims in his human form, which was unusual for werewolves. His actions and savagery brought him him into conflict with the Ministry of Magic Werewolf Capture Unit, and he had many encounters with the department's werewolf hunter, Cecil Lee. Despite being captured multiple times, Greyback would always manage to escape and continued his attacks. During the period between the two wizarding wars, Greyback continued to attack witches and wizards on his own initiative, particularly targeting children. When Voldemort returned, Greyback rejoined his ranks and became one of his enforcers and terror weapons. During the Battle of the Astronomy Tower and the Battle of Hogwarts, Greyback, he was responsible for fatally injuring Lavender Brown and leaving Bill Weasley scarred, and a scar from a werewolf in human form never heals. However, he was eventually defeated by Hermione Granger, Professor Trelawney, Ron Weasley, and Neville Longbottom. It is likely that after the final battle of the Second Wizarding War, Greyback was imprisoned in Azkaban for his crimes against wizard kind. Lucian Underworld Film Series. Unlike our previous antagonists, Lucian is a beacon of hope for the werewolf kind in the Underworld film series. His character was primarily brought to life by Michael Sheen. Slave to an unknown captive werewolf, Lucian was actually a human, but raised by Victor, a vampire who saw the potential of creating a new race of slaves. Saved from certain death as an infant, Lucian was branded with Victor's mark and raised as his personal pet. One important note in the Underworld film series is that Lucian was the first of his kind, a second generation of werewolves who were capable of transforming back into their human form, unlike the first gen, who transformed into untamable, rampaging monsters and remained in that form until death. Lucian grew. He became the ruler of the Lycans, but under Victor's command. These Lycans acted as bodyguards for the vampires during the day. Werewolves were locked by the vampires during the night as a solution to preserve both bloodlines. However, Lucian's true loyalty lay with his own kind, and he constantly clashed with the vampire slave masters while trying to protect his clan. His fate took a swift turn when he fell in love with Victor's daughter Sonia and got her pregnant. The fear of their bloodline blending and threatening the vampire purity drove Victor to have his daughter exposed to direct sunlight in a horrific act of cruelty, while Lucian helplessly witnessed his lover and their unborn child burning alive in front of his eyes. This tragic event fueled Lucian's burning desire to avenge Sonia's death, driving him to become the most feared and ruthless leader in Lycan history. He broke free and challenged Victor and the entire vampire clan, inciting a war between the two worlds. Even though Victor was an elder vampire who harbored immaculate strength, Lucian overthrew the vampire rule and established the rule of Lycans under his leadership. This marked the onset of the constant war between the vampires and the werewolves, with Lucian the central and captivating figure in the Underworld franchise. Jeremy Danvers, Bitten TV series, Women of the Otherworld novel series. Jeremy Malcolm Edward Danvers, former werewolf alpha of the North American Werewolf Pack, is a pivotal character in both the Bitten TV series and the Women of the Otherworld novel series, written by Kelly Armstrong. Jeremy's role was portrayed by Greg Burke in the Bitten TV series. He possessed unique abilities as a Kugitsune, aka werewolf, which included the supernatural ability to sense if his loved ones were in danger and even have visions of their whereabouts. Jeremy also had innate knowledge of protective runes and could communicate telepathically through dreams. This 6-foot-tall-inch raven-haired werewolf may not be the best fighter in the pack, but he compensates with absolute self-control, allowing him to make rational decisions and address the pack's challenges effectively. Throughout the series, Jeremy plays a pivotal role in the pack's affairs and confronts various threats. He is involved with dealing with Mutts, a rebellious faction of werewolves, and faces challenges related to pack dynamics and conflicts. He possessed heightened senses, speed, and strength, surpassing that of an ordinary werewolf. Jeremy's years of experience and natural leadership qualities make him a formidable force among his kind. Additionally, Jeremy's intelligence and strategic thinking make him an essential asset in conflicts and battles that arise throughout the series. Jeremy takes on responsibilities as the alpha and becomes the werewolf delegate on the Interracial Council. Jeremy also develops a romantic relationship with Jamie Vegas, a necromancer in the book No Humans Involved. Their relationship continues throughout the series. In the initial stage of the series, Jeremy's backstory reveals the path to becoming the alpha involved protecting Clay from his father Malcolm, who attempted to kill Jeremy and take Clay away. Jeremy raised Clay and guides him through his transformation into a werewolf. Moreover, as benevolent he might be for a werewolf in terms of power, Jeremy's abilities and strength are unparalleled among the other werewolves in the series. Bigby Wolf, Fables comic series, The Wolf Among Us game. Bigby Wolf, also known as the Big Bad Wolf, is a prominent character in both the Fables comic series and The Wolf Among Us game. Bigby's origin story is intertwined with both his werewolf heritage and his complex family dynamics. His father, the North Wind, was attracted to Winter, and he transformed into a wolf to mate with her. As a result, Winter gave birth to 7 children, including Bigby, who was born as the weakest of the litter. Bigby's older brothers often bullied him. However, his mother protected him from their torment. After Winter's death, his siblings set off to look for their powerful father, while Bigby stayed behind to guard his mother's dead body. He made a solemn vow to himself that he would kill something larger than the previous day, a promise that led him to grow larger and feast on prey. Eventually, he encountered the 3 little pigs, and his father's wind-related traits, such as his powerful huffing and puffing, became evident. Throughout his journey, Bigby antagonized the likes of Red Riding Hood and the Woodsman, who bested him and sewed stones into his stomach before tossing him into a river. It was during this incident that Bigby discovered his inability to drown, which shaped his resolve to hunt humans and consume a greater number each day, leading him to kill entire towns and armies. When the adversary invaded European homelands, Bigby turned his attention to their armies, wherein he freed Snow White and her sister Rose Red from a chain gang of prisoners, leading them to the gate between the homelands and the mundane world. It was during this time that Bigby developed an attraction to Snow White. After crossing over to the mundane world, Bigby settled in Alaska and had a relationship with Sarah Taranach. He was later found by Snow White, and together with their children, they were offered a chance to move to a fable colony in the New World. To shapeshift into a human, Bigby allowed Snow White to cut him with a lycanthrope-stained knife. In his wolf form, Bigby was massive, considerably taller than a human, and could carry people without strain. He had enhanced senses, far surpassing human capabilities, and his healing ability was rapid, making him nearly invulnerable to conventional weapons. However, he can be slain by silver or fire. Bigby's extraordinary senses allowed him to pick up on the emotions of others, although he constantly smoked to drown out the overwhelming sensations. In addition to his wolf and human forms, Bigby has the remarkable ability to assume an intermediate form, reminiscent of the legendary Wolfman. This transformation endows him with immense strength, accelerated healing, and the fearsome claws and teeth of a wolf. Jacob Black, Twilight series. The most awaited character of the werewolf universe is here. The Twilight series has garnered a cult following because the fans are seemingly torn between Team Jacob and Team Edward. But only Jacob Black will have the limelight in this list. The origin of the werewolves in the Twilight series is tied to the Quileute tribe, who have directly descended from wolves, allowing some members of the tribe to possess the ability to shapeshift into werewolves. Jacob Black was the most powerful werewolf in the Twilight universe, and his character was brought to life by the devilishly charming Taylor Lautner. His origin is from the ancient lines of the Quileute tribe, which allowed him to control his transformation with more ease, alongside having heightened senses and swift reflexes. Jacob's transformation occurs when he and his friends encounter the vampire Laurent, trying to seek revenge on Bella. This encounter awakens the dormant werewolf gene within him, and they all subsequently transform into powerful werewolves in order to save Bella from him. It should be noted that Jacob's transformation is triggered by intense emotions, particularly anger. His wolf form is described as large, muscular, and dark-colored, representing his strength and dominance within the pack. Physically, he has the body of a 25-year-old when he is just 16 due to the rapid growth and halting aging process that occurs when werewolves first turn. In the New Moon movie of the Twilight series, Jacob becomes a crucial source of support for Bella after Edward Cullen leaves her. He develops romantic feelings for Bella, while she considers him just a friend. Later, when Bella and Edward got engaged, Jacob still refused to leave her side despite his heartbreak and, of course, the life-threatening encounters with other vampires. In a weird twist of events, when Bella is pregnant with Edward's child, it was Jacob who saved her declining health by suggesting she drink human blood for survival. Later, when Bella and Edward had a daughter, Jacob experiences an unexpected, powerful phenomenon known as imprinting, which is an involuntary process where a werewolf finds their soulmate and becomes bound to them forever. Imprinting was rather a protective bond, which is not inherently sexual or romantic, so Jacob's love for Renesmee was pure and selfless, and he became her guardian and protector. To imagine that Jacob Black until Stephanie Myers realized the gravity and complexity of his personality. Safe to say, Twilight would not have its mark had it not been for Jacob Black. Alcide Herveaux, The Southern Vampire Mysteries, True Blood TV series. Alcide Herveaux, portrayed by Joe Magnolino in the HBO series True Blood, is a prominent werewolf character with a compelling backstory. Born to Jackson Herveaux, the packmaster of Jackson, Mississippi, Alcide comes from a family deeply ingrained in lycanthropy. He grew up in the Jackson pack, learning the values of putting the pack's needs before his own and finding balance between his human and beastly nature. As a teenager, Alcide was engaged to Debbie Pelt, a fellow werewolf. However, their relationship turned sour when Debbie became addicted to vampire blood and left Alcide for another werewolf named Cooter. This separation marked the beginning of Alcide's solitary life as a lone wolf, distancing himself from his werewolf pack. Alcide's path intersects with the supernatural world when he takes over his father's debt to the vampire Eric Northman and becomes a bodyguard for Suki Stackhouse, the series' protagonist. He initially joins forces with Suki to find her kidnapped vampire love interest, Bill Compton, and their friendship eventually evolves into a romantic relationship. Throughout the series, Alcide's character experiences various transformations and challenges. He becomes the packmaster of the Shreveport Werewolf Pack after killing Marcus Bozeman. However, the power of being an alpha starts to corrupt him, leading to a more aggressive and morally compromised behavior, causing his pack to lose trust in him. Ultimately, Alcide's reign as packmaster comes to an end when his girlfriend at the time, Ricky Naylor, challenges him for the role. He chooses not to kill her and resigns as a packmaster, returning to his lone wolf lifestyle. Alcide later embarks on a romantic relationship with Suki, but their time together is tragically cut short when he is shot and killed while trying to protect her from human vigilantes. Overall, Alcide, as a lycanthrope, exhibits remarkable physical strength and prowess, even among other werewolves. He is shown to be stronger than regular humans, shapeshifters, and werepanthers. In his wolf form, he possesses heightened senses and tracking abilities. Alcide can also shift between human and werewolf forms at will, except during full moons when the shift occurs spontaneously. In the book version of the Southern Vampire Mysteries, Alcide's backstory and character development differ slightly, wherein he remains a werewolf with ties to the Longtooth Pack, managing a surveying company with his father. His romantic involvement with Suki and his role in the supernatural conflicts also diverge from the television adaptation. Raze, Underworld Film Series. We have already discussed the main wolfman in the Underworld film series. Now we come to Razahir Kemsi, aka Raze, the right-hand man of Lucian. The film series portrayed him as a prominent character through actor Kevin Graveau. Raze's origin goes back to the 14th century, where his father was a powerful sultan of Sudan before their homeland was invaded by Saracen invaders. He managed to survive due to his exceptional physical strength, which drove him to roam the world as an outcast. Eventually, Razahir was captured in Europe and presented as a gift to Lord Victor, the vampire elder, and his coven. In the prequel film, Underworld: Rise of the Lycans, Raze encounters Lucian when he comes to defend his lover Sonia against a pack of wild werewolves. Although Raze is still human at the time, he valiantly fights the werewolves, impressing Lucian with his combat skills and bravery. However, Raze is captured by the vampires and develops a friendship with Lucian during his captivity. The vampires, using a captured lycan, force Raze and other humans to be bitten by the werewolf, turning them into lycans and enslaving them as laborers. Raze ends up assisting Lucian in their plans to elope with Sonia, and subsequently leads the lycan slaves in rebellion against the vampires. He remains loyal to Lucian for the next 6 centuries and continues to play a significant role in Lucian's plans, serving as his bodyguard and participating in various operations. Another significant part about this character really unfurls in the Silver Whip scene, which takes place after Raze finds Lucian's dead body. Filled with anger and grief over his apparent death at the hands of Craven, Raze confronts Soren, who happens to be passing by at that moment. Soren is armed with silver whips, weapons specifically designed to harm and immobilize lycans. But this does not stop Raze from fully transforming into his werewolf form and using his brute strength and agility to dodge the whips and counterattack. Soon, he overpowered Soren and swiftly killed him. However, his triumph is short-lived as he senses the presence of Victor, who effortlessly dispatches him by snapping his neck and impaling him with a sword.
I am the alpha of alphas. I am the apex of apex predators.
Deucalion, Teen Wolf TV series. Okay, so this guy is the most infamous werewolf of the series and was portrayed by the very talented Gideon Emery. Despite being blind, Deucalion was a powerful alpha werewolf and the leader of the Alpha Pack. Even though he had a generic alpha power of a werewolf, Deucalion could shapeshift into a monstrous wolf form and had mastery over mind manipulation. His appearance featured a scarred face, red glowing eyes, extended claws, and a rigid brow in his alpha form. His initial reasons for returning to Beacon Hills were to recruit Derek Hale and unleash Scott McCall's true alpha potential, aiming to add rare and powerful alphas to his pack. During his first visit to Beacon Hills in Season 3A, Deucalion displays his strength and cunning as he pursues his recruits while incapacitating the vengeful druid, Jennifer Blake, who seeks revenge for the injuries inflicted on her by the Alpha Pack. Later, Derek and Scott ultimately let Deucalion go, hoping that he would become a better man. Although Deucalion stays away from Beacon Hill for a while, his presence is felt as he hires a mercenary to rescue Derek from captivity, showing that he still watches over the town and tries to make amends for his past actions, which alters his character's personality and makes him a more likable character in the series. In Season 5B, it is revealed that Deucalion has been working undercover with Scott to expose Theo Raken's deceitful intentions and turn the Chimera Pack against him. Throughout his redemption arc, Deucalion chooses nonviolence and adopts the martial art of Bagua to protect himself and indirectly cause harm to his attackers. In the final season, Deucalion provides guidance and knowledge to Scott and Melia in their battle against Gerard and Monroe's Hunter army, using his experience as a blind man to teach them how to fight without relying on their eyes. Despite his efforts, Deucalion meets his end at the hands of Monroe's hunters. His final words to Scott remind him that Gerard knows he can't defeat Scott and his pack, giving Scott the reassurance he needs to overcome the threats with the support of his packmates. Deucalion's character undergoes a transformation from a primary antagonist to an anti-hero, forming a tenuous alliance with the McCall Pack and striving for redemption. Throughout the series, he remains a powerful and complex figure in the supernatural world of Teen Wolf. Peter Rumancek, Hemlock Grove TV series. In the Hemlock Grove TV series, Peter Rumancek's character is portrayed by Landon Libron. This is a story of a 17-year-old Romani boy who moved to Hemlock Grove with his mother, Linda, to escape their troubled past. The werewolves in Hemlock Grove, when transformed, blend to an appearance of human and wolf characteristics. Their physical strength, speed, and heightened senses are significantly enhanced in their wolf form. Peter inherited his lycanthropic nature from his mother, who is also a werewolf. Throughout the series, he grapples with his dual nature and struggles to control the animalistic instincts that come with his transformation. Peter's connection to the supernatural world and his ability to shift into a wolf make him a crucial figure in the unfolding events. Additionally, his Romani heritage adds an element of outsider status and prejudice that he faces from his townsfolk, as rumors circulate throughout Hemlock Grove, Pennsylvania, that he is responsible for the brutal murders that plague the town. Despite the suspicions surrounding him, Peter strives to unravel the mysteries behind the murders and prove his innocence. Alongside the enigmatic Roman Godfrey, heir to the powerful Godfrey estate, he embarks on a quest to solve the unsettling mystery that engulfs their town. Throughout the series, Peter's werewolf transformation adds a significant supernatural element to the story. His abilities as a werewolf include enhanced senses, strength, speed, and agility, making him a powerful force to be reckoned with. However, Peter must learn to control his primal urges as the line between man and beast becomes increasingly blurred. The tension between his human emotions and his animalistic instincts fuels his personal journey and shapes his interactions with the other characters.
Well, that explains it. Now show me.
Klaus Mikaelson, The Vampire Diaries, the original TV series. We have saved the best for the end. Klaus Mikaelson can single-handedly give every other werewolf a run for their money. He is not just a werewolf, but also a vampire. In fact, he's one of the original vampires of the TVD universe and was practically unkillable. His character had such influence, depth, and pizzazz that after being one of the prime recurring antagonists of The Vampire Diaries, he got his own show, The Originals, which which documented his conquests alongside his family. Klaus's character was the epitome of a Bildungsroman. He went from being a cold-blooded, ruthless mass murderer to a man who sacrificed his life so his daughter could live. His death was one of the most emotional moments in the history of television. Without his imprint, the franchise was never the same. Throughout his existence, Klaus fiercely protected and cared for his family, considering them his greatest strength and weakness. He was an original vampire and werewolf, making him the very first powerful original hybrid. For over a millennium, Klaus sought to break the hybrid curse given by his mother to suppress his werewolf side. He orchestrated the myth of the sun and moon curse, a ruse to find the Moonstone and Petrova doppelganger, which were the essential components to break the curse. In 1492, Klaus encountered Katerina Petrova, aka Catherine Pierce, the last missing piece. However, Katerina's transformation into a vampire foiled his plans. Determined to overcome this setback, Klaus spent centuries searching for alternatives, often using and manipulating witches to aid him. Klaus's pursuit of the cure led him to confront his family members, neutralizing and threatening them to ensure their loyalty. His turbulent relationship with his stepfather, Michael, added another layer of complexity to his character, as Klaus had endured an abusive childhood. Despite their hardships, family remained a driving force in Klaus's life, and he would do anything to protect and reunite with them. Throughout his journey, Klaus formed significant bonds with other characters. He developed a strong brotherly relationship with Stefan Salvatore in the 1920s, and later formed a deep connection with the vampire Caroline Forbes. Klaus's love for Caroline and his attempts to win her affection showcased his capacity for growth and vulnerability. In New Orleans, Klaus became entangled with Marcel Gerard, forming a father-son bond. However, Klaus discovered Marcel's betrayal in bringing Michael to the city. They reconciled when Marcel saved Klaus's daughter, leading them to work together against common enemies. Additionally, Klaus also cherished his relationship with Camille O'Connell, a bartender he fell in love with before her tragic death. This was the saddest part of his journey. Everyone that Klaus loved either betrayed him, did not love him back, or died. The originals saw Klaus's character developing from a feared and ruthless villain to a more nuanced and compassionate figure capable of feelings. This change was brought forth after the birth of his daughter Hope, for whom he pierced a wooden stake through his heart. To this day, Klaus Mikaelson, the original hybrid, remains an iconic and dynamic character in the realm of supernatural storytelling, remembered for his intricate history and unwavering love for his family. With this, we come to the very end of the list. These god-tier werewolves really are the undisputed kings of their kind, possessing unrivaled strength, ferocity, and supernatural abilities. Please do not forget to tell us about your favorite werewolf character in the comments below. And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks, everyone.